Hi, ladies. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Terry. Hi. Welcome to the How to Build an Impact Empire Masterclass with One Eye, which is a masterclass I ran about 2 weeks ago. And so it's similar, but it's going to definitely be different and even better than I did 2 weeks ago. So I'm stoked that you're here. And if you were on 2 weeks ago, you're definitely going to learn something new. And if this is your first time taking this masterclass, then welcome. Or if you didn't watch the replay, welcome. And I'm super excited about this masterclass. And I know that y'all been kind of following the journey, and this is a newer space that I'm, bringing into our community for people here that have one eye, and just like all of you that are already those visionaries and have online presence and coaching businesses, mentoring businesses, podcasts, public speakers, authors. We have so many amazing individuals in our community already doing really, really, really amazing things and building businesses and creating impacts. And so this is like the next step to just support that, you know, that limb of this. And so I'm really, really excited that y'all are here and to like dive into this kind of content today. And I do love, engagement in the chat. And so if you're here and you're excited and this is where you want to be, you can drop a yes at any point in the chat or questions. And then if you can have your camera on, great. If not, I totally understand. I just know in my experience, when I'm like on a Zoom, the more I have my camera on and I'm engaging, the little bit more everything seems to like land for me. But I know that sometimes we're listening on, and that's totally fine too. But hi, Terry, good to see your face. And then, and also too, if master classes like this is something that you already offer in your impact with your business, it's a great way to kind of see how I do it and sell on the back end. And you can take what works for you and replicate it in a way that feels good to you. And that's really how I've kind of developed this skill of like doing these kinds of master classes as well too. So the first like part that I want to really dive into on this masterclass today is like the vision part. So like casting that vision. And I know that you all have access to that 3-day Telegram experience I did over the weekend. If you didn't get the link or you couldn't find it, just email me or reach out to me and I'll send you the link. So I kind of went deeper into this portion in that experience, but I do want to touch on it today. And so when I talk about like casting that vision, first, I would love to know, obviously I know some of you are ready, so I know what you currently kind of do, but I would love to know in your words, if you want to put in the chat, like what it is that you currently do and like who you currently help, and like a little bio. You don't have to go crazy, but maybe just currently what you do. And then we're going to like cast that bigger vision next on like where you want to take your impact, what it is that you want to be doing with your impact. And it's like, if you're in my world, I'm like, anything is absolutely possible. And like, the sky is the limit and there's absolutely no limits. And so I'm here for whatever that means for you. It's like, if you want to be hosting world-class conferences with like hundreds of people, if you want to have millions of followers on social media, if you want to be speaking on stage in front of thousands of people, if you want to be having a business model that's bringing in millions of dollars every month, it's like whatever it is, like that you desire for your own impact and the amount of people you want to help and how you want to do that. Like, I would love for you to, share currently a little bio, like what you do, who you help, and then what that bigger vision is, or what your vision is moving forward for yourself. And this doesn't mean you have to have it like all figured out. Like, it doesn't need to be 100% clear. I don't even think you need goals, because I like, I live off of like, setting goals is amazing, but I also think that like we can blow past our goals all the time too. So it's like, have goals, but don't like constrain yourself to those goals either, and allow yourself to like, if you say you want 10 people in your program, like great, but it's like, but you could do more, if you like, just if it's not like, okay, I'm going to stop at 10, it's like where we can kind of push some of those limits or those boundaries. But also there's a nuance here, because sometimes I work with clients that like don't set goals because they're afraid if they set a goal or they say their vision out loud or their bigger vision out loud and then they don't make it, or it takes longer for them to hit it, or it's not as easy as they thought it was going to be, then they don't want to sit in that discomfort. And so make sure, like, I've even kind of done that too. I've caught myself, I'm like, am I not setting a goal because I don't want to not hit it and then feel bad about myself for not hitting it? So if you have, let me pull up the chat here too, anything you want to share and kind of that bigger vision or that bigger context, too. So Jessica, I'm a professional trainer and nutrition coach for women 40 over. I empower them to ditch dieting and embrace a positive relationship with food and their bodies. I love that so much. So much. What do you feel like? Do you have like a bigger kind of vision for something new that maybe you're wanting to implement into your current impact? Whether that's some sort of in-person experience or a conference or a different kind of program or another like tier or level of program or a podcast or whatever it is. If there's some ideas that have been floating in the back of your mind that you've been like this doing this kind of coaching I've been wanting to do, and I've kind of sprinkled it over the last year, but this is something that I've literally wanted to do since like early 2024. And I'm like, why, why sometimes it just takes us so long to like actually just like follow our gut and our heart. And I know better. And you probably all do too. Like you have those feelings, and every time you like ignore or resist those feelings, like eventually at some point you're like, why did I ignore that? Like, why did I put that off? Like, why didn't I just do it? Why did I wait so long? And there's no, it's all part of the process and the journey to like get ourselves there. But it's always like, I share this a lot all the time, like even with Iheesive, like everything I've done has been from a feeling, like from the very get-go when I lost my eye, was like, I need to connect with someone online. It was like a feeling that was so deep. And it's like each and everything that I've just done has been this like intuitive, like deep feeling. And like, again, this kind of work with people in our community has been such a strong feeling for like 10 months. And the fact that I've just been doing a million other things, like, beating around the bush essentially because of like fear or doubt or because of like not having it clear, is really like where we're trying to like bridge that gap and just like allow ourselves to like know that vision and then to step into it. I'm getting another certification as a holistic premenopausal and menopausal coach. I'd like to offer group programs to serve lots of ladies at once. Yes, absolutely. And I know we've talked about that a little bit too, because it's like when we're talking about like scaling, especially when it comes to mentorship, and coaching, it's like we only have so many hours in the day. And so if we're doing a lot of one-on-one work, it can get draining and it can cause some burnout. And there's just not as much, time to fill like, or to have all one-on-one. So it's like, where can we add in the scalable offers where we can have multiple people or lots of people or hundreds of people that we're serving at once. And then, we're not getting as burnt out and we're still helping the amount of people we desire to help inside our impact. So definitely those group coaching programs are, I've really been loving the Telegram because I don't have to even like set up a specific time. It's like I can drop audios and trainings at whatever time in the day. It feels really good to me. And that's really scalable. I can have as many people as I desire in those experiences. And then I can deliver the information anytime throughout the day. And I don't have to get on camera, if I don't want to, or, and then I can weave in the camera. Because I do think obviously this in person and seeing each other on camera is super important as well too. But to weave that in is always nice too. I love the idea of a podcast at some point. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the things that I definitely am on the journey to creating as well too. And so I think just like, again, anchoring in this like bigger vision, like knowing in your heart, like this is where you're going, and to like start making moves towards that now. And that can be in your social media content, that can actually be just doing it, that can be getting the support that you need to be able to do it or to figure it out. It's really like holding that bigger context of like, this is like what I desire to do with my story. And it's okay if it takes a long time. Like, I'm in this for the long haul. Like, this is my work. This is what I'm so passionate about. Like, things can move quick and I can make them move quick when I like step into my power. I have my vision and I like do the actions. But I also have this big context that like what I'm desiring to create it's inevitable. It's going to absolutely happen if I like share my vision out loud and I take the actions to move towards it. So thank you, Jessica, for sharing your vision and where you're going, and just allowing us to read that out loud and kind of anchor that in. Um, and it's just like, I get so excited about these things too, because like I already said, like I just know the possibilities, and really when we allow ourselves to play in those possibilities and not to put ourselves in a box or to like do the things that we think we should be doing or that other people are doing or what we've done in the past that we've outgrown, which I think is really like important here too, is we're expanding into new things. Sometimes the things that we've been doing, even if they are really successful and they really served us at one point in our lives, to really look at that and be like, is that still serving me? And is that almost even maybe blocking me from expanding into my next level, from expanding into my next, element of my impact too. So just looking at what you're currently doing, whether that's the way you're doing content, that's the way you're hosting your classes, your mentoring, your boundaries with your clients, maybe an offer that just no longer serves you anymore, maybe a style or a way that you're doing your podcast, so just like, and I did this inside that experience too. It's like these audits, these like little impact audits too, to really, really anchor in like where you're going, what kind of is not coming with you, and then allowing yourself to like fully step into that next bigger vision and knowing how you're going to get there. So that's our first little segment on here. And I go a lot deeper into some of that stuff in that experience as well, too. So the next thing I want to do, and I'm going to share my screen, and this is talking about building a brand. And I know all of you were inside of the Claim Your Space online challenge. And that space was just to be playful, like just show up every day for 2 weeks and share your story and get creative and try on different things and to share your story in different ways. And, and I know some people it was their first time sharing, and some of you have been sharing for a long time or just sharing more regularly or in different ways. And I want to like just reiterate it on this call today. Like, when I talk about like using your one-eyed story, it doesn't mean that like you have to build an impact around your one-eyed story. I was like having this realization the other day. I'm like, I hope, maybe I need to be more clear about this, because I'm like, building an impact, I want it to be unique to you. And just because I help people with one eye doesn't mean that like you have to share your story of having one eye and build an impact helping people unless with one eye, unless that's what you want to do. It just means that like whatever, like Jessica's is unique to her and her fitness, and helping women over 40. And so it's like, just to be clear that like you don't have to use your story or build a movement or a community or a business like that's specific towards that story. But I think weaving in your story, is important if you desire to. But what I'm going to share today on this content is really specific towards your zone of genius, like towards your impact that you are creating. It doesn't mean it needs to be anything about your eye. Andrew, I have a social media page that doesn't have a definite direction, but ultimately I want to be a spokesperson, influencer, fitness and personal development. Yeah, Andrew, I love that. And I see big things for everybody. And I know we've kind of talked about like just getting a little bit like clear on the direction and then like hitting it hard, and I know you're like on your way and you're doing amazing. And maybe this content piece today will really help as well too. So let me share my screen here. So I just figured I like wrote them all out, and I was just going to give it out to everybody, which I still am going to give it to y'all. But then I was like, we should go through them kind of quick. Obviously, this would be a whole program on its own, but I just wanted to like break down the importance and kind of the why behind some of these too, because I think that's really important. All right, can everybody see my screen? Okay, awesome. And I just want to make sure. Okay, hopefully. Okay. Oh no. All right, so 30 powerful content ideas to build an impact empire with your iStory. So again, it doesn't need to be about your I, but using this in your own impact and what you do for your clients, your community, the people you serve, the people you want to buy your products, your book, invest in your things. So number one, and I think we don't do this, we don't need to do this all the time, but I feel like we probably all could do this do this now, is just like creating a fresh, like updated bio. Like, I don't know, in the last time you like put a bio on your page and just like took a lot of time, not a lot of time, but took some time to like sit down and really write it out. And you could do it in third person if you wanted. And maybe even have some people read it if you have people on your team, like have someone on your team or a significant other or a client that you're comfortable with, or just someone else kind of read through it, but really a bio of like who you are and what you've done and what you do and what you've created. So I think a bio is a great content idea. Obviously highlighting your story, and this can be your I or just any parts of your own fitness story. And then maybe parts that you haven't told in a long time or that you've never told. And this I love to do in a way that's like reverse engineering your story too. So you can, no, Jessica, you'll get a copy of this. Yeah, I'll send it to you. Okay. So I'm trying to make sure that, yes, okay, don't miss anything in the chat. I like to reverse engineer, and this, you know, like you'll never run out of content ideas. And I don't think that's the issue here, because I know you all are like creative, but when I think about my story, it's like I could reverse engineer, like one post could literally be like how, you know, I overcame just the fact of losing my eye, you know, or how I like told my boyfriend that I lost an eye, you know, or like if it was a dating like scenario, or I could reverse engineer like how I started Iheesive or the why behind Iheesive. And so just like different parts of your story. And it's like where you're at now in that specific thing, like with a fitness goal, with a relationship goal, with your iStory, and then like how you got there. And there's, yeah, you could do a whole, you could do days on different parts of your story just by doing that. Host a live or a collaboration. So I definitely feel like as leaders and mentors, like going live is so important, because they get to like that connection, your community, your followers, your audience like gets to connect with you. And so I think going live, you know, once a week or a couple times a month when you can is really, really important. And either you can teach on the live, or you can just connect with your community. You can share a story. You can talk about an offer. You can talk about your own results. You could talk about a client result. So that connection just adds more to your social media presence, or a collaboration, whether that's a live or a reel. I talked about this in that Claim Your Space. I think if you're really trying to grow a following, like collabing with a lot of people really helps to expand your reach. And that can be on live or reels or pictures or whatever it may be. Specific offer of your or specific offer result. That kind of sounds weird now, but showcase the exact transformation of one of your offer provides. So I broke it down even more. So it would be like if you're doing a carousel or on a reel, it would be like the hook. So what the result is. So if we're talking like fitness, I'm just going to make this up, but like if they, especially with like the new year coming, I think people are often waiting till 2025 to get their fitness goals in check. And so it's like the result would be like, imagine like losing weight before January 1st, you know, or like the result is like you don't gain any extra weight over the holiday season. And so like what they're currently doing, like they're whatever it may be. So what you're, you know, that your ideal client is currently doing. So they're thinking about the holidays, they're trying to plan ahead. They are like whatever they're doing, that's really amazing. Or if we're talking about like business or what I'm doing, the result is like you want to build, a social media presence. And what you currently are doing is you're showing up online. You are committed. You are, already like making strides and showing up powerfully. And then where they desire to be is like, but, if we're talking about by fitness, it's like you want to be not on, December 31st in tighter fitting jeans. And so their gap is like whatever it is that you offer. So like the nutrition plan or the mindset work or the accountability. And so the gap is like what you fill. So really showcasing the results, because people don't really care about like the method. They like care about the result that you provide. And so talking about a like specific result, and that can be different on each and every post. I think sharing the why or storytelling behind one of your offers. So I feel like this kind of offer that I have right now, like I have such a powerful story because it's like, yeah, I created a community for people that have one eye, and like everything that I've learned about business and marketing and messaging and community and content, like I can now share that with all of you. So we're doing the why behind an offer, and you can do that with each of your offers and just really storytelling why you created that offer. Problem awareness content, which is similar to your result, but this is a common problem that your audience faces. So what they're doing wrong, essentially, and then how your offer is the solution. So again, the hook is like the problem. So the problem might be that they're waiting until January 1st to work on their fitness or to lose the weight. And like, and what they like are trying, or what they have been trying, sorry. It's like, maybe they've tried years before, or years in the past to lose weight before the holidays, or they've been trying all summer and they kind of have this mindset like, oh, 2025 will be the year. And so, or just maybe they've been trying different fitness things or different mindset things, and like why that might not be working for them. And then like, again, paint that picture of where they want to be. And then you obviously, you are the one that like fills the gap with what you offer. So another way to like describe this too is like, because it's not like, I mean, we kind of calling people out, but sometimes people like really don't know that like what they're doing isn't working. It's like, and I wouldn't like, when I think about content, like I didn't know like posting so like inspirational content wasn't the best way to like create, a mentoring business, because it's like people love inspirational content. They're going to follow that. They're going to comment, they're going to like, they're going to engage, but they're not necessarily going to like hire someone that's just like inspirational. They're going to be like, oh, that's great, that's inspirational. When I learned that like that's not the correct content, and that if I post content with the results that I offer in my program, then people are going to realize like, oh, I want those results, So just looking at the problem awareness, not like that people have problems. It's just like they don't necessarily know what they're doing, or like the weights that they're lifting, or the foods that they're eating, or the things that they have in their diet, or the way that they think is sometimes the problem. And so we like highlight that. We highlight what they've been doing or what they've been trying in the past, and like why that's not working, and how your solution, what you do with your clients, will help them to keep the weight off, will help them not to gain weight over the holidays, will help them to just feel really confident through the end of the year, will help them, create their business, launch, their program, whatever it is that you are offering. And then a piece of content that you can do, one piece of content that covers like everything you teach. I think that's sometimes fun, where it's like the core topics that you focus on and your impact. So that could be mindset, that's like nutrition, that's fitness, that's drinking water, that's like routine. You can get really nuanced in this as well too. It's like when I think about iHesive again too, and each of my offers are a little bit different, but it's like I really focus on like personal power and empowerment and being your best self, and to like loving yourself, and then creating an impact and sharing your story and showing up online and being committed and, building offers and sales and messaging and marketing and content, and so you could really go into deep on like just all of the things that you teach. You could do a post that's like a direct like call to hire you, like clearly explain like why people need to hire you, your brand values. So you can really sit down and write out what your values are and do a piece of content kind of talking about those brand values. And again, for Iheesive, it's community, it's connection, it's sharing your story, it's making an impact, it's that strength, it's that resilience, it's definitely commitment, it's moving big, it's doing things you never thought you could do. So kind of wrapping your brand values into a piece of content. You could definitely do a piece of content that brings light or humor to your message. And so I think sometimes with that problem awareness content, it's fun to do that too, because it's like, making like laughing about something that maybe a lot of people like know that they do that's kind of silly or dumb or like not going to get them to where they want to go. Or just you can get creative with being, I think you probably all have seen the haunted house stuff. It's like a haunted house, but like you're still where you like are 6 months from now, or a haunted house, but it's like content creators, fighting about this and that, or a haunted house. And so just like bringing light or humor to your message in a certain way. And a lot of times you can do that with like different trending things as well too. Client results. So your results. So you can share a milestone, a win, or something you achieved recently or in the past even. I think sometimes we forget, and especially if we haven't had what we feel like is a lot of growth recently, it's like we get caught up on and shaming ourselves for our current results. So sometimes the best thing to do is just like reflect back on like a past result and how amazing that was and share that again. Or really look, there's always lots of amazing results we sometimes just don't see because they're not maybe as big as we want them to be or that we're expecting them to be. So claiming your current results or sharing like a really amazing past result as well too. Sharing your clients' results are huge. If you have testimonials or just transformations or conversations with your clients, powerful one-liner. So just a short, impactful phrase that captures your message. Addressing fears. So talking about fears that your audience may have and how to help them overcome that. So this is more not necessarily like problem awareness. This is more like they have for fitness, like a fear of like, what if it doesn't work? Like I've tried everything in the past, or I've been at this for a really long time and I don't know if I can lose the weight or if I can stay committed because it hasn't worked in the past. Or about investing, it's like I've never invested that much money. So you can clearly be like, I know it can be scary to invest X amount of money or to commit to something for X amount of time. And then I think with the addressing fears, it's just using your own story or past or current client stories of how they committed or invested or how they overcame that specific fear. If we're talking about like dating with one eye, it's like that can be a fear, driving with one eye. And so like using my own message or my own story of how I overcame those fears helps, it kind of calls out people, but like then you're like showing them the way and that it's okay to keep trying and to try again and that there's like another way to do it. And that like they're strong individuals and they can do anything, and then get specific about your ideal client. So this is like a post where you're just like pretty much talking to your ideal client. Like you can get so nuanced and like hyper specific in this. And you're just saying like sharing like the type of person that you desire to work with. And it could be, when I think about my ideal client, for this space, it's like, obviously they have one eye, but they're like dreamers and visionaries and like in their bones, they just know that they're meant for massive impact and to help people. And they're really, adamant about like changing the world and showing up and being a leader and helping people. And then like even more specific, they love like health and nutrition and they work out and they're active and they desire freedom and in their impact and they desire to travel, and so I can kind of like create a post that's like, you are this, and just put that like out there into the world. For your ideal client, you can paint their future vision. So illustrate where they will be, in 3 months or 6 months or a year after working with you, or you don't even have to put a time frame on it. You can just paint this like vision of where they're going to be. Like for me, it'd be like, you'd have multiple offers that you're launching and selling. You're really dialed in on the messaging and who you're speaking to inside your impact. You are nailing your email marketing, or like for fitness, it's like you put on the jeans and you look in the mirror and you're like, dang, these jeans still fit, like I've been working so hard, and like painting that picture of how they're going to feel inside and like what they're going to create in their life. You can do a post on like behind the scenes. So anything that you're working on right now that you're really excited about. Behind the scenes can also be like wisdom or a lesson that you just learned. You could do a post on like who's in your world. So is this kind of similar to that ideal client type, but you can talk about multiple people in your world, especially if you have a group program or if you have a membership or something. It's like the people in my world, like this is who they are, this is what they're doing, this is how they show up. And then another one that's similar to this is like your movement's vision. So share the kind of world that you're creating for those who join, your impact or your program or in your vision. So it's like the world is that you're creating is like how people are feeling or showing up or co-creating with one another, connecting with one another, or how you want them to feel when they're like on your social media page, and like, and I talked a lot about this on the first masterclass because I didn't have this content thing. So I went through a little bit more about really creating this world for people on your social media. Like when they land on your Instagram page, it's like, and I'm not talking like aesthetics necessarily, and I'm not like a super visual person, and I don't have a background in like social media, but what I've always tried to create on Iheesive is like when people land there, they like feel like they belong, like that, like it's a world for people with one eye. It's like there's different stories and there's like different elements to this, but there's like a world that like everybody has a place to come into, whether that's like the membership or they want to like rise and do even more within their story now. And so just painting that vision of this world that you are creating for your people. And like when they come there, it's like being in a movie or being in a magazine and just like they want to read every piece of content. And so like just like that energy, and it doesn't have to be perfect right now. And the more you do this, like I'm still on this journey, obviously, but like having this kind of a mindset, I think, around social media and like creating this kind of energy where it all works together. And it's like each piece is like for your ideal person, and they get to like see themselves in these different content posts, highlight the different sides of you. I did talk about this in the Claim Your Space. So show your different personalities, serious, funny, bold, loud, etc., like in different posts with like pictures or the things that you say or videos. Obviously be authentic to you, it's like just because yes, it doesn't mean you have to be like loud or bold or funny or serious, but I do think when we are creating different, like people resonate with different things. So I think it's just so important to kind of showcase that different sides of us to connect with different people. Sometimes like, but like, don't try to be something that you're not. Like I've definitely tried that and post like, oh, I have to be more funny or I have to be more serious, and it doesn't always like land or come off right. So just do like and claim what it is that you are, but like bring in the different parts of you. Don't be afraid to share these different sides of you. A good post always is like your mission statement. So really reaffirm like why you do what you do. And offer specific posts. So you could do one post that spotlights all of your offers in like one post, and just kind of is like, this offer is for you if, it's like, or this offer, the result of this offer is this, it's for this type of person. The result, if you have multiple offers, or if your podcast talks about multiple different kinds of things, or if your book, talks about different things and you have a book and a podcast and they're a little bit different, you can talk about, all of the offers that you have, or if it's like, even if you were on different social media platforms, you could be like talking about the different social media platforms that you're on. Or if you can get creative here too, and just like highlighting the different things that you offer inside your impact. And maybe it's like a podcast and you have one program and you want to do it and you're doing an in-person event, or whatever. You have a podcast, a YouTube channel, and a group coaching program. So you're just speaking on all of the offers that you have. A piece of content that claims something. So this can be, I like to do this sometimes. If you're like in your head about something, or you feel like people are going to like judge you about something, I'm like they can't shame you if you claim it. So just like coming out and claiming that, or just claim something that you're like really proud of. So I think can always do every once in a while these like kind of claim posts. You could do a post like, if you just sat down and really thought like, what is something that I would say on my social media if I had no fear, like the most unwatered down version of you. And I know that you're like already having these kinds of conversations with your best friends, with your clients even, but then you go to write a social media post and you're like, oh, I can't say that. Oh, I have to like tweak that, or I can't be that bold, or I have to like, and I've done it too, and that's like when I really just sit down and it's like thinking about like, how would I say this thing if I had no fear of just coming out and saying it the way that I want to say it. So that's one way you could do a post. And then a post that's not relatable. So I think so often when we are creating these impacts, we want to be relatable. We want to relate to people. And I think there's a lot of value in that, so that people do feel like they can relate to you. But I do think that as leaders, and again, mentors, there's this level of like sharing things that might not be relatable, for the fact that like it does inspire people to like reach higher. It does show people what's possible. It does show people like, because I think if everybody's just relating to one another, it's like cool. But where it really comes in, especially when we're talking about like coaching or working with people, it's like we want to work with people that are like striving and growing and like hitting new milestones. And sometimes I think we just want to keep everything so it's super relatable. And so I think thinking about maybe a win or an accomplishment or some aspect of your life that's not really as relatable, and like sharing that too. It's like if you travel a lot and you like eat whatever you want when you travel, it's like those kinds of things, and like how you do that, or if you or hitting certain like money milestones, or you're hitting just fitness goals. Sometimes it's like sharing those not relatable parts of your story too. You could definitely do a debunk a myth, addressing a common misconception, or give your opinion on a relevant topic in your industry. You can create your own trend. So like really thinking about being the trend, introducing something fresh or unique in your own field or industry or impact. Seasonal content. So this is so great since we're coming up on the seasons. You can just tie in seasonal themes. You could do like life events. So like I often do offers around my birthday. It's like 2 days after Christmas. So you could do offers around obviously like Black Friday, or you can create your own holiday within the holiday, like keep it fun and like spicy. Or like I say, you're moving, or you're going on a trip, or you're getting married or engaged or something like kind of big, and a big event. And you don't have to do something for all of your big events, but just highlighting those events. And if you have offers that align with those events, it's a great time to have an offer at that time too. You could definitely do pop culture and things that are obviously on trend, and obviously wrap it into your brand, your story, and right now it's like, when I think about pop culture, it's like things on like common TV show, Love is Blind, or um, just different TV shows that you like, or Taylor Swift, it's like, or like for the Eras tour and stuff like that. And if there's a way to take those, and obviously this is opposite from the last thing I said, where it was to not be relevant. This is like being relevant. So tying some of this into your brand as well too, and like connecting with your audience on that level as well too. And just because everyone's thinking about the holidays as well too, it's like always such a good time to kind of tap into that, or have special like Halloween offers. Um, a call a call for connection. So every once in a while, I think it's great to have a post or a reel that's just like either introducing yourself, or even in a way that's like maybe something you didn't know about me, and then you're sharing some things that people don't know about you. And then you can ask your audience, like, what's something I don't know about you, or share part of your story, or um, just something for your audience to interact with you back. And you can do that in so many different ways. And then just remember, like, this is so important, like each piece of content, when we're building, and this is what we're talking about in this masterclass. Obviously, if you have a personal Instagram and you're just sharing your life, that's one thing. But when we're really talking about like building this like impact empire with your story and what it is that you do, your mission, your work, the things that you sell, the things that you run, the things that you are scaling, it's like each and every piece of content is for them, and this helps me so much, because even if I'm not like feeling great, or I'm really tired, or I have a busy day, I can sit down and be like, what do they just need to hear today? Or what will get them one step closer to where they desire to go? And when I'm like making it less about me, it's so much easier to like, my ideal client needs to hear this today, or my ideal client is maybe struggling with this today, or my ideal client, you know, just like where they're at, or like painting that picture. Um, and so making, the content for them, I think is so helpful, and doing that with all of it. And I think even when we're sharing parts of our story or wisdom, I think there's always a way to like start the story with like, this just happened, or I want to share a part of my story. And then you're extracting the wisdom and sharing like what they can take out of it, and what they can learn from it too. And like I said, you can weave in different parts of this, but I really think when we're when we're building these impacts and we're making people feel like a part of, we want them to like to read the content like it's for them. And so a great way to do that is like using the word you in your content instead of I. If you're talking about I, like my story, like I lost an eye, blah blah blah. But if you lost an eye, like here's what you need to know, and it's like, and spinning it in a way that like they're reading it for themselves. So I know this was this was kind of a lot that we just covered on this, but I did feel like I needed to go a little bit deeper into this and really breaking this down, and hopefully that was helpful for you. And of course, you're going to get that to use on your own, and get creative with it and just have fun with it. You don't have to do everything. Yeah, thanks, Susan. That I, share in there, but take it on for what works for you. And then the third part of this masterclass is really talking about this like leadership portion as well too, because we can have this ginormous vision for our impact. We can create like the best content and be like crushing it on social media and speaking directly to our ideal client and have all of the offers and even be making good money. But like, if we're not leading ourselves and being in this leadership energy, it's like, it gets draining. It gets like when things go awry, or it's hard, we often want to like jump ship, or just like bail out, or I'm trying to like really think about my own like personal leadership journey, which is like ever growing. It's like every single day I feel like I step into a little bit higher leadership within myself. And I talk about, we all are going to have doubts, or we're going to have fears. And it's not about not having doubts or fears, but it's like leading yourself even when you have doubts and fears. It's like not about doing more work. It's just like becoming just someone that is a leader. Like, this is who you are. This is the work that you do. And so when this is who you are and this is the work that you do, like, what's your next move? Like, what's your next action? What's your next step? It's like almost like this identity like piece as well too. And there's this piece that's like when you are leading yourself and you're like in this identity of like, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is the content that I put out there. And it's like, I'm here to help people and like make an impact, like with my story and my business. I'm going to keep growing my own leadership so I can keep serving more and more people so that I can keep being like my best self. So I'm not comparing. I'm in my zone, in my lane. I'm doing my thing. I'm showing up consistently. I'm loving on myself. I'm taking care of myself, number one. It's like this leadership of like, where am I like wasting time or spending time on things that really don't matter to move me forward? Like, what am I spiraling or dwelling on that like other people on social media, on like negative comments, on DMs, on like comparing myself? Am I like sitting down and just really getting honest with my impact, like where I'm going and kind of where I have some gaps, like from a place of no shame and be like, okay, I just need to work a little bit more on my messaging, on my marketing, on my email marketing. It's like just sitting down and being like, knowing that this bigger context, like you're on the greatest mission. I share this all the time, excuse me, the greatest mission of your life, and like really allowing yourself to step into that, like the leader that's like going to get you there and get your community, your movement, your people there. And obviously there's so many ways to like grow your leadership and your identity. And, the way I've found and what's been like the most useful for me is always surrounding myself with like other leaders, my mentor or other programs or group programs, or listening to podcasts or reading books or being in rooms and spaces with leaders that are doing things that I desire to do. Um, you know, and like learning and calibrating to like their level of like leadership. Another way that I like grow in my leadership, I'm always like plugged into those spaces on a regular basis. But it's just, again, taking care of myself. It's like really getting honest with myself and like what my thoughts are, and allowing myself to like continue to keep trying, keep evolving, keep moving forward, keep getting better. And so it's just like an internal game all the time. And like there's no cap to your leadership, just like there's no cap to your vision, which is like, I think, cooler than that there's no cap to your vision, because it's like, if I'm just on this journey of being my best self each and every day, and I like wake up like, how can I be my best self today? Like, what is it that I can push the limits or the boundaries in today? How can I stretch myself a bit more? How can I like show up and say what I really want to say? How can I make a really, powerful piece of content? How can I cast an even bigger vision for myself, for my community, for the people working with me? It's like when I'm playing in that energy and I just keep stepping into that, like I just feel it growing all the time, just automatically, without like, I mean, obviously it's like work and I got to do it and I got to be thinking that way, but it's like I get to just, what's the word? Like do it in a way that's like makes it fun. There's no pressure. I'm not like, oh my gosh, I'm not already my best self. It's like, or I need to be better. It's like this energy of like, I get to do all of this stuff and I get to keep learning and refining and getting better and implementing new things. And so like when I remove the pressure, the need, the lack, that's when I'm like in my true leadership. And when I'm stepping into rooms with people and mentors and spaces with leaders, then I like calibrate to them. And so it's like this lovely like balance, and it's not always perfect, but but it's like part of the journey, and I really do think that building an impact or a business or being a speaker or a leader or a mentor, like it's never about, I mean, just in life in general, I don't think it's ever about the result or the end destination as we often think it is. It's like who we're becoming along the way, the journey, and like the ways that we get to stretch ourselves or prove to ourselves or to outdo ourselves, like not from a, again, lack energy, but like, wow, I did not think that I could do that. And I just did that. Or wow, I didn't believe that I could run a business, and now I'm running a business. Or I didn't believe that I could share my story online and I did it, or said something this way and I did it. And so it all just comes down to like that kind of work when I look at leadership, like over and over, and being honest and vulnerable and just open with yourself and with the people around you as well too. So I know we covered so much in this master class, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop them. I guess I should have said that earlier. I think I did, but yeah, if anything came up on all those content ideas, anything about your vision or about leadership, you can definitely kind of drop questions as well too. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. And then definitely make sure, if you're not in that Cast Your Vision Telegram experience, can jump in there. There's only three trainings in there, so you can listen to those, just to continue on what we discussed in here today. Now, I just want to take the last few minutes of this masterclass to talk about the Visionary Group Coaching Program, which I know maybe all of you or some of you already know a little bit, but if that's okay, let me know if I can just take a few minutes and talk about the program that I have coming up. And I will, drop the link as well too. But so this group coaching program is for visionaries like y'all, but anyone that's really, if I'm getting really like specific here, that has a coaching business, that, has a business, they want to grow their social media platform, they want to really introduce, like, because some of the things we're going to be talking about through it's a 4-month program, we're going to be going deep into like creating offers, like having different offers, whether that's one-on-one, that's a group, that's a membership, that's a virtual conference, that's an in-person experience, like really creating those offers, and then messaging on your social media, like who you're talking to, getting really, really specific with like your ideal person. And I know this is like the trickiest thing, I think, for a lot of us entrepreneurs and dreamers, because we want to like help everybody and talk to everybody and serve everybody. And I get it. But like, there's like this secret sauce, like when you are like really specific and you know who you're talking to. And just because like I find this all the time, it's like I'm so specific, but I bring in people all the time that maybe aren't like that perfect fit for that. But I also bring in those perfect fits, but I bring in the overflow of people too, because they still see themselves in some part of that messaging. And so, but when we're vague and we're talking to everybody, then we're really like talking to no one. And that's been like a hard lesson for me to learn. So getting really specific on messaging, and then definitely on marketing, and then email marketing as well too. Just any like back end stuff of like creating, launching, selling, running master classes, and then definitely scaling within what you currently have, your current programs, your current social media, and then doing it in a group setting. So we're meeting once a week. I'll be delivering on those, specific topics that I just discussed. And then we'll be doing a lot of like hot seat coaching with the people inside the program. So I think it's just going to be, or I know it's going to be such an amazing space to co-create, to kind of mastermind, and really be in your power each and every week. Because like I said, as long as we're staying in our power and we're showing up, like the result is inevitable. And, I'm sure as far as when we look at business, it's just like bringing in that amount of money that you desire so that your business is sustainable, you're not burnt out, and you're like enjoying your life and what you get to do every day. And so that's the Visionary Group Coaching Program. It does start on November 4th, which is a week from today. Oh my gosh. And if you didn't sign, so when I talked about it 2 weeks ago, the little special was 4 one-on-one group coaching calls, but that only lasted that week. But if you didn't sign up then and you sign up before this Wednesday, you'll get 3 3 private coaching calls. So just one less, but you'll still get a little special bonus if you sign up before Wednesday of this week. Like I said, we start next Monday. It's 4 months, so it'll go until February. And it's weekly group coaching calls. There's a Telegram component as well too. So we'll be in the Telegram Monday through Friday, really getting kind of deep and specific and troubleshooting along the way too. I'm going to drop the link. And if you have questions, I'm happy to like stay on and chat, or you can always message me on social media. Oh gosh, hold on. Sorry. And yeah, this is kind of like when I was thinking about offers. I'm like, this is like the meat and potatoes like offer. It's like the goods of the goods. And if you're in the One Iara membership, you get a discount. Or if you did the iPowerment program, you also get to use your payment from the iPowerment program towards the Visionary Group Coaching Program. So if that's any of you and you're interested in doing that, DM me and I'll give you a special link. And you can sign up either payment plans or for the whole pay in full. And I do have a VIP option as well too, which I'm super excited about if you want ongoing one-on-one support throughout the whole program as well too. So amazing. Does anyone have any questions today about anything that we discussed? And if you happen to just sign up for the Visionary Group program right now, put it in the chat. We'll celebrate you. I think we got everything. I'm super excited. Make sure, like I said, you're getting that Telegram experience. Check that out. And then, yeah, check out the Visionary Group Coaching Program if you haven't already. Thanks, Jessica. And be in touch. And I will be here. And I'm really happy that all of you are on tonight. I do appreciate you taking the time out. And I will send, thanks, Susan, that PDF to each of you with the 30 content ideas too. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful night and happy Monday night. Bye. Good to see each of you. Thanks. Have a good night.